Hello, Bells Up Studio. I'm Lacey and welcome to today's strength set. This is another class that has a mixture of some strength and power in it. We're going to be focusing mostly on lower body with posterior chain hinging motions. You have a single side assisted deadlift today, so you want to have a big heavy bell for that one. Ideally, it might be the bell that you are going to sidestep swing or single arm swing, which I'm going to give you a couple options for that as always. We're going to go through a warm-up where you will need a light kettlebell for halos and then work through a little bit of rotation and some cleans in a staggered stance to sort of get ready for the positioning that we'll be in when we go into our single side assisted deadlift. So make sure that you have a heavy swing weight bell and then one that's a little bit lighter to start out our class today. So the first thing we're going to do is hit some side plank clamshells. So I want you to come into a side plank on your knees, stacking your top hip over your bottom hip, making sure your shoulder is in line with your elbow is in line with your hip, and you're able to lift yourself up fully. If you are not able to lift and move your leg like I'm going to show you here, I want you just to hold the side plank position. We're going to do this about 30 seconds each side. So let's go ahead and start by lifting here. So I want to make sure that I am lifting from my core, my obliques, pushing down through the floor. I'm going to lift up my leg and then turn my knee down. So today I'm not going to connect my feet. I'm going to think of turning the knee down and then lifting the knee up as I hold this plank. So we'll just move through this and we should feel our hips a lot, especially on that down leg side, and then also this top leg hip. Make sure you think of your chest shining forward and almost pulling your hips through to the top. Let's keep doing this for 5, 4, 3, 2, go ahead, come on down. I'll give you a little bit of time to transition. We're gonna hit your opposite side here. So make sure that you are lined up. It'll feel way better, trust me, if you have everything stacked and you're not arching your back as you come up. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. So we're here. We're gonna lift that leg. Let's go down and then open. So we're trying to get that movement from the top hip without it coming from our full body moving. We're just trying to think of this muscle here moving the leg. We think of our glute med moving it, our hips staying stable, lifting, lowering. We should feel some adductor too. Feet should be a little bit flexed, or you could point, whatever feels good for you, but I like a little flex. You can feel it a bit more in the legs when we do that. We're gonna be here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh my goodness, I felt that in both sides. If you're a little sore, that one will definitely give you a reminder. Okay, so next up, we're gonna hit some standing halos. I'm gonna have you go 30 seconds to the left, 30 seconds to the right. We'll take a tiny break in the middle. Remember, when we're haloing, we want the bell to stay nice and low. Chin height the whole way through, not rounding our shoulders, resisting and standing up tall with our shoulders over our hips the whole time. This one is also dumbbell friendly if you hold it on the sides. Let's pick up our bell in 3, 2, and 1. So bell is at the chest. So we're gonna go around your left side for 10 reps first. Elbows can be wider or more narrow depending on what feels good for you. If your bell feels a little bit heavy today, I would just take a break at your chest like this. Push down the floor and try to keep your body feeling like it is in a strong plank position as you do this. Give me a few more rotations here. We're gonna hold it at our chest no matter where you're at in 3, 2, and 1. So just give me a tiny hold here. Let's take the other direction. So spinning it around the right ear this time. I like to think of it staying in line with my ear height at least concerning the goblet. The bottom of the bell faces down in the back. The top of the bell faces up in the front. Just look straight ahead. Try not to lift your chin or pop it out egregiously from your neck. Just try to relax the head. Get some movement through the chest and shoulders. 3, 2, bell comes down to the floor. Very nice. Okay. Next up, we're gonna take a 30-second scorpion hold on each side. So this is the one where we lay flat, arms come out to the side. One toe is gonna come over the body. I'm not gonna go fully to my chest, just so you guys can hear me. I don't crush the mic, but I want you to think of your head being on the floor, your ear touching the floor. So let's go ahead, lay down. You're gonna bring your arms out to a T shape, and your head would be down on the floor like this. Then you're gonna roll yourself over, bringing your ear to the floor and bringing your opposite leg of the hand that is in front of you that you can see, or I guess I would say the same leg, over the opposite leg. Now from here, you're just gonna push yourself back. You're gonna feel a nice stretch in your chest. Maybe tuck your chin a little bit to feel it a bit in your neck in a good way, and then thrust your hips forward without arching your back. So we're not leading from the low back. We're leading from a slight pelvic tuck, opening up our hips. If you're pretty flexy, you can grab your back foot, get a little more of a stretch, but if that is coming at the expense of you arching into your back overly to get there, I would say stay here, pushing yourself over, trying to breathe into your shoulder, breathe into your chest, breathe into your hips, just let yourself relax. We're gonna take the other side, obviously, after this one. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So let's go ahead, switch our side. We're gonna go opposite now, so you can see that I'm just rolling over that arm, getting a stretch in my chest. I'm tucking my chin now, even though you can't see that, and then thrusting my hips forward. You can touch your toes with a point or just let your foot relax. It does not matter how far that leg goes. I like to keep it a little close so I can thrust my hips and feel a nice stretch in the front of my legs. So try to relax and breathe here, laterally into the rib cage. We're gonna breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Try to take relaxing breaths and maybe see if you can lift your hips up just a little bit more for 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's lay down onto the floor and then push yourself back. We're gonna come to a standing position and take a 30-second staggered iso hold deadlift. So in this one, I'm gonna have you take your lighter bell and bring it in the opposite side of the foot that you're going to have forward. So I'm gonna start with my right foot forward with the bell in my left hand. As I come down into this, I'm gonna think of my legs being hip width apart and my back leg just scooting back enough that I can use it as a support system to keep myself balanced with all of my weight in my front foot. So the back foot should be light. You're just gonna send your hips back, trying to keep your shin parallel, so your knee right over your ankle, aiming your kettlebell over your big toe, and we're just gonna hold here. So let's try this one together. So bell is going to be on your left side, so let's go ahead and pick it up. You're going to bring that left foot back. It should be about hip width apart, and then we're gonna try to move forward and put all of our foot into the right side. I want you to slightly start sending your hips back with a minimal knee bend, aiming the bell over your toe but not reaching it down. So see how my shin here is in a parallel position. I'm not moving back. Just my hips are moving back. I'm slightly lifting them up. Now I want you to hold in this position. Take your back knee and slightly turn it in towards your front back part of that knee and feel your hips close up. Now push down the floor. Try to pull your shoulders slightly back or squeeze your armpits really tight. Abs are tight here. Push down the floor with your front foot and hold for 3, 2, push and stand all the way up. You should have felt that a lot in your front leg. A lot of burning going on there. Let's go ahead and hit your opposite side. So bell comes in front of you. We're going to take your opposite foot back, a little different angle here, less hip, more so you can see the front and how my foot is placed if you need to look. Let's go ahead, send our hips back, bring the bell up, and now we're gonna set ourselves up. Move your weight a little forward into that foot. We're gonna start by sending the hips back. I like to put my back hand on my tailbone to sort of guide them back. Find the spot where you can't get your hips back anymore. Then I want you to push your front foot down more and turn your back knee towards that front big toe. Maybe angle the bell over the front big toe without moving your entire body. It's just moving the bell in the arm. The hips stay in the same position. Maybe lift your booty up a little more, push down your foot a little bit more, squeeze your armpits a little bit more. You're not, again, reaching that bell down. The bell does not matter how far it goes down. All that matters is your hips are going maximally back. Let's push down and hold for 3, 2, 1, come all the way up. That's what we're gonna try to recreate when we do our assisted single leg deadlifts today. And if for some reason the assisted deadlift is not for you, taking the foot off the floor, you can come back to this staggered stance deadlift at any time. We're gonna go into our next set now, which we're gonna work on some SOS Turkish Get Ups, all the way up to the standing position. We're gonna practice some staggered dead cleans. You can really get into that position and practice loading that foot. And then we'll start our swings. You'll need a 2-hand swing weight bell, so something you can at least do 5 to 10 reps. And then we'll practice a few side step swings so you can see if those are for you when we get to the strength part of our program. So go ahead and make sure you have all your weights ready and we'll go ahead and get started. I've been laying the groundwork for the SOS Turkish Get Up, which is a pretty big rotation through the thoracic spine, a little different than your normal get up throughout the program that this class is included in. If this movement is not for you, you can go ahead and always go default to your baby Turkish Get Ups like we've done in previous classes, or just do a regular Turkish Get Up. You can also practice the SOS with me, going for body weight only, so it doesn't matter if your arm gets a little out of alignment as you learn the positioning. So let's go ahead, come to the floor. I recommend going a little light with this one, and we're gonna try going all the way up to the standing position today on each side. If the standing position, again, doesn't work for you, then you're just gonna stay in the normal sort of half position that we do in this movement usually, especially the ones that we've done in this program. So go ahead, lay on your side. I'll walk you through step by step. You're in the fetal position with your bottom hand gripping the bell, your top hand over the bottom hand. We're gonna roll onto our back, push the bell straight up, and come into our normal get up position. From here, you're gonna roll yourself to the elbow, and then take your bent knee, bring it over the straight leg. You're gonna bend the straight leg now, and then flip yourself over so the bell rests on your back. You're gonna have your forearm facing the same direction that you're looking up towards the bell. You should feel like you're in a really twisty and deep side plank here. Then you're gonna bring your forearm straight in front of you, press your arm up. So to come to the standing here, you're gonna come back onto your booty, rotate yourself, kind of feels like a windmill. Step up with the bell side leg, come all the way to standing. Then we're gonna come back down into that position. Now we're gonna use our leg to reach our booty back again. Bring that hand to the floor, elbow to the floor, elbow back to the side, so we can flip our body and land down into our original position to roll ourselves back to the floor. A little bit of a twisty pretzel there, but should feel really nice on your back if you have pretty good mobility here and you've been practicing this position. Let's go ahead and get the other side. You'll get a new angle from this one. So again, we're gonna roll onto our back. I forgot to mention, we're just doing this one time through, so you're only gonna practice one of these today. And find your roll position for your get up. Push yourself over, straight arm, all the way up. Wait, I lied. Back down, sorry. We're gonna switch our legs. So bring your knee over, and then we're gonna flip onto our knees. Let's take our arms straight, push ourselves up. This is where you push yourself back to that seated position. And then you're gonna lift through your hips, rotate yourself forward. Remember, bell side bent knee is always what we do. So that leg comes forward, we stand into the lunge. We step back, bend the knee back, and we're gonna use that opposite hand, that free hand on our leg, just like in our regular get up, to sit our booty back, and then bring our elbow to the floor. Now we just have to rotate that forearm forward, find ourselves in that position to roll down in the get up. Roll all the way to the floor with your core, pull the bell down, and then bring it to the side, land in your fetal position. Totally normal in this one if you kind of roll around the floor just a little bit and find yourself in a different direction. Good thing that we are adding a little bit here slowly, because this is one you don't want to take on too fast. You'll see these coming up in the next program as well. So we're laying the foundation. Okay, 5 staggered dead cleans. So what we're gonna do for the staggered dead clean, we're actually going to bring the bell on the side of the back foot. So it can be kind of a little bit further from the front foot side. We're gonna practice here, cleaning the bell up, but balancing on the one leg. So the back leg is obviously there for a little bit of balance to help you keep your hips forward, but we're gonna try to bring it straight off the body and think about pushing only through that front side to help us lift. We're gonna go through 5 reps here. If you're not confident with the stagger, go to your regular dead clean and practice there. That's always your foundation. So let's go ahead and try 5 reps. So we're gonna stand with the bell a little more close to the back leg side foot, and then you're gonna bring that foot back. Make sure you have enough room that you don't feel like you're gonna hit your knee with your arm as you go up. So let's hinge our hips. We're gonna clean just as we normally do, but pushing through that front leg more. Bring the bell right back down. A little more advanced option is to take the hang clean position, which we've been practicing a lot in this program. See if you can control this opposite hip, not letting it open up to the side. You'll know right away if it does that, because your front knee will probably get pulled that direction and you don't want it to. Play around with those, play around with that position. When we set ourselves up here to hold, remember our weight was a little more forward in our foot. We're not way back here. You have to recreate that when you go into the clean. So it's just like that isometric hold position, just fast hips. Let's go ahead and try our opposite side. So bell's going to come close to that back foot side, and then the leg will come back. Remember, we do not want to hit our knee, so give yourself a little space. Let's hinge our hips. We'll start our first rep. I want you to hit 5 on your own. This should be a nice moderate weight bell today. I don't want you to go too heavy with this one, because I really want you to emphasize getting your weight a little forward into this foot and pushing through the stable leg, through that front foot. The back foot is a little bit your accessory, and I know it's kind of weird because we're doing this contralateral position where we have our working leg opposite of where we're holding the weight. But this position is gonna help us square our hips off a little more in the clean. Watch when you do this, guys, that you're not bending your back knee down and ending up in a squat. That's sometimes what I commonly see with the staggered movements. We start to go down with the hips instead of back. You wanna think forward and then back with the hips. Finish up your last few there, 5 dead cleans, and then we're gonna try some 2-hand swings. I just want 5 strong 2-hand kettlebell swings with your swing weight bell that you feel comfortable with for 5 to 10 reps. Shouldn't be the heaviest bell you've ever done in your life. So go ahead and bring that bell in front of you. Let's go ahead and step behind it, making a triangle with our feet in the bell. Toes are forward. We're gonna send our hips back, put our weight more in our heels this time. Tickle the handle of the bell and kind of pull it towards you. Arms should feel straight and nice and strong. You're gonna grip the handle. We're gonna thrust in 3, 2, and 1. Hips go up with the bell. Bell comes down, parks on the floor. Hips will rise now. We're gonna practice our side step swing. So side step, remember, as the bell comes up, you're going to step 1 foot in. As the bell comes down, you step it back to where it started. So we're trying to find that start position each time. We're really working our inner thighs on this one a little bit by grounding again in the leg that isn't moving. I'm gonna have you try 5 side steps each side. So we're only gonna move one side. I'm gonna start by moving my left leg. When you do this, make sure your feet get close to connecting and you're not kind of just tiptoeing. I want your foot fully flat to the floor as you step. Really push into the ground when you get here. This also helps us practice our timing for getting the leg back before that bell drops. 5 2-hand swings, regular style if you're not doing side step today. So let's try this out. 3, 2, and 1. So I go up, my foot comes in and plants next to the other foot when I hit that float part at the top. I'm controlling that motion with my standing leg. Shake it out. If you're just doing 2-hand swings without the side step, you're gonna repeat another 5 here. Everyone else, we're gonna move our opposite leg. For me, that's my right. So let's find our position. Rib cage comes down. We're nice and stacked here, controlling our core. Hips go back. Pull your bell back, find your hamstrings, move your hips back as far as you can without your feet lifting and shaking. Let's go 3, 2, 1. Weight comes down. That was our practice set before we get into our intervals today. So you're gonna have a 60-second interval to go through your swing. So I don't expect you to be swinging for 60 seconds. I want you to try to get at least 10 reps of swings on each side. If you're a little more advanced, you could add another 5 to that, setting the bell down, or you could possibly do 2 sets of 10. I do recommend that when we get to the next set that you go moderate to light with your swing for you, not the heaviest swing you've ever done, just because the reps are gonna add up today, and we're combining these with single leg assisted deadlifts. So go ahead and get out a heavy bell for some single leg deadlifts. We're gonna use an assist to hold on to one side so you can really get into your leg. And then you'll also need a lighter bell, aside from your swing weight, to hinged row for 5 reps. We're also gonna have an opportunity to practice hang cleans in between our sets of rows. So go ahead, get your equipment out, and we'll get into our strength set right away. For our strength sets, I think I mentioned earlier that the strength intervals are 60 on, 30 off. They're really 30-30, so that makes it a little better. You don't have to do a million side step swings. I was thinking about it, like, that doesn't make sense. So it will make a lot more sense once I explain to you what you're gonna get up to. So we have our single leg assisted deadlift. I'm gonna use an assist on my wall here, so I just want you to be able to grab onto something sturdy. It could be a squat rack, it could be a table. I'm gonna kind of push into this, and we're gonna go whichever leg is down. Your working leg side is gonna be the leg that will have the kettlebell, or the hand that will have the kettlebell. So we're gonna match those up today. We've done this movement before in classes, so I'm not gonna get too much into the form right now. We'll talk about it as we do it. Your staggered deadlift, so the position we did in the warm-up, will be your go-to if you're not taking the leg off the ground version that I'll be showing today. Then you have your side step kettlebell swing. You're gonna go 30 seconds, as many reps as you can do. I always recommend stick with 10 if you feel like you can't go for that entire interval. If you do go the entire time, you might get upwards of 15, so just be aware of that when you select your weight. After that, you have 5 single side hinge rows. So we're gonna hold the bell on one side here between the legs. So you'll hit 5, so we'll say that's 4, that's 5. Then we're gonna come into hang clean position. Practice a hang clean, which we've been doing in recent classes here. Drop back to the hang and then take those rows again. So as many sets of that as you can do in the 30 seconds. You might choose that after those rows you just focus on the hang, or option to completely eliminate the hang if you want to just get in a little bro sesh with your rows and get a lot of reps there. I do have to say, side step swing, if that's not for you, single arm swings are your modification there. So I want you to swing on one side, second interval your swing on the other side. So 30 on, 30 off, 4 rounds through. We're going for 24 minutes without a lot of rest today. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to get all of your stuff laid out, to get on the correct side for those single leg assisted deadlifts. And what else do I want to say? That's it. The cues are the same as a staggered deadlift. We just want to think of really reaching our leg back, keeping our hips moving back, and remember, we don't want to bend down and let our shin come forward. So let's go ahead, start this one out. Clock is on here. 3, 2, and 1. So I'm going to hold on to that apparatus, and then when I'm doing this, not contralateral, so I don't have the bell in the opposite hand, I'm just going to still kind of aim it over the top of my foot, and I'm really going to concentrate on letting my toes on this back leg side spin inward, and that's gonna help keep my hips square. Again, I don't wanna come down and up. We're not in a bar class. We're not going up and down on the bar. You wanna really think hips back maximally. 3, 2, and 1. Quick reminder to make friends with the inner edge of the sole of your foot. We want some internal hip rotation here to help square off our hips and really feel this in our glutes. You mostly should be feeling this movement on the stable leg, the downside leg. So if you're feeling it on the other side or not quite feeling it anywhere in that leg, we might have some positional adjustments to make. Let's go ahead, hit your opposite side. Sorry, my back's to you on this side. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. So I'm gonna start with my arms straight, so I have enough room to sort of bend it as I come down. Hand position could be palm facing you on the kettlebell side. It could be kettlebell on the outside of the body. You just want to find a position that works for you where you aren't having to wrestle around with it. So remember, all of our technique cues: don't reach the bell to the ground, reach your hips back, push to the floor through the sole of the foot to stand up. Weight should be in that front part of your foot, ideally with a little in the heel. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Sometimes I get questions, I can, balance. Why do you have me gripping onto something? This, because the interval is shorter, is going to allow you to get some more reps in on that single side. And part of the reason why is because we are solving the problem of stability here. You don't have to fight as hard, but we will be able to get some more reps in at a heavy weight. So that's what I'm going for today. Side step swings, side 1 coming up. Remember, 10 reps. If you're taking single arm swings, equal 10 reps. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to step my left in. So for my true 10 reps there, it usually takes around 20 seconds, which is almost exactly where I landed. So you have just about 5 left here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Some of you might have hit those 15 reps. Judge this by the weight that you want to use. And if you're maybe a little confused as to where to start for the side step swings, I would start with a weight that you can single arm swing comfortably, and then go somewhere between that weight and your regular 2-hand swing weight. As you get the motion, you might want to go a little lighter just to get the timing, but know that that step has to sync with the bell drop because you don't want to hit your knees, right? Let's do your other side. 3, 2, and 1. You are going to get the most out of this one if you actively push down the foot on the stable leg. You have to make that your anchor. This is an advanced move because of the timing. We're gonna rest 3, 2, and 1, but what makes it elite is you're really gonna get that work in your adductor here and your core if you actively push into that foot. So it's almost like doing a single leg swing. I'm not really relying on this leg for much of anything, so you can kind of sense a theme here. A lot of single side work in our sets today. Okay, rows, hang clean, back to rows. We're gonna stay on one side. I'm gonna go on my left side first for this one. So I'll pick up my row into that hang position, 3, 2, and 1. So I start here. I'm gonna hit 5 rows, holding the bell towards the top of it, tilting it a little bit at an angle for those rows. After my 5th, I can let my hand move to the middle of the handle a little more, face it back or in, and try that hang clean. If it feels better for you to not switch your grip here, go for it. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Those of you that are really pushing it through those rows, my vision here is that you could get 5, hit 1 hang clean just for like a good measure, and then hit another 5. You might get that if you're really pulling. So kind of have that in your head at sort of the higher potential of this. Maybe it's those 5 rows and you practice maybe 2 hang cleans once you get there. Remember, you only have a 30-second interval. We're going through this 4 times, so your first round is almost over. We just have to do our second side of our rows. Let's pick your bell up. 3, 2, and 1. We come down. Notice I'm pulling back. Another solve for this is to hold the bell a little in front of you so you facilitate that back motion instead of here going straight up. Hang clean, we definitely want to go straight up, right? Catch in that position. I'm going to try to bang out 5 more reps. My opposite hand is strong, clenching. I'm not letting the opposite side of my body do what it wants. I'm controlling it. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Rest here. So 1 round is done. We have 3 more rounds of this together. You're gonna find your position for that assisted deadlift. I want you to make a switch. If you feel like working leg side doesn't feel as active for you, doesn't feel as good for you as it does when we hold it the other hand, go with the version that you feel the most here. You can most certainly practice it on working leg side, but if you get a little more out of that contralateral hold, it forces you into internal rotation a little more, hit that one. Let's go ahead. Speaking of hitting it, go for your first side in 3, 2, and 1. This isn't a race, but because you have that apparatus to hold on to, I expect you to move a little bit faster. You don't have to worry about control here. You're getting all that juicy single leg work. Use your hand that's holding onto the thing. Pull, push down, keep that hip under control, reach your heel back. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Good idea to start counting your reps. If you're not doing it, I want you to try to match them as best you can on your opposite side. I spoke about the rep OCD a couple classes ago. If you miss a rep or 2, I am not concerned about it. I want you to stay present in your movement. Try to think about what you're doing as you're doing it. So if counting reps distracts you from actually getting into the position and executing the reps, that's why we're on intervals today. So don't worry about it. Just go for the timing. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. I wonder if you guys get like a nice booty view here, or you get a nice view of probably what is the bottom of my dirty foot. Gentle reminder again, we are not reaching down. We are reaching long. Let yourself grow this way. Don't let yourself get pulled down by the bell. We're not one of those little like, I don't even know. My dad had one of those little like bird things on his desk, 3, 2, and 1 that you put like a water dish under, and it would like go like that. I think that that was a little before my generation even. So you might be thinking, God bless you if you're a Gen Z person watching this right now, you might be thinking, what the hell is that? You don't want to be tipping like this. We're not like a seesaw hitting our face or our booties onto the floor. We are growing long and strong in these moves, and you're going to feel your butt a lot more if you do that. Okay, side step swings or single arm swings. Single arm swings are not a downgrade, by the way. If you want to practice those, go for it here. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Remember, we set it up for success. Our opposite arm is across our body. If we're taking single arm, we reach. We get a lot of pop from our hips. We send our hips back with momentum. We push our feet down. You are getting so much anti-rotation work here, a little more core intensive than we would be doing only in the side step swings. The side step swings, you're getting that whole side of the body working really hard. The single arm swings, you have the luxury of some stability below the waist. You've got 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna hit your other side, tighten up your ponytail. Get ready, we have 2 more rounds. After we finish this set, we still have our hinge rows coming up. Look at that. Little posterior mix today and a little more cardio endurance in these last few classes of this particular program. So we are pushing some of that speed, some of that skill, because we've kind of worked on this stuff for the past few weeks. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. I think one of the funniest questions I get sometimes is, does kettlebell training work? I'm like, I mean, yeah, it works. We've got 3, 2, and 1. It's just like normal weightlifting. So that's like someone asking me, does weightlifting actually work? Depends on how you do it. Depends on how you progress it. But the thing is, kettlebell training is kind of like training with dumbbells or like any free weight style training. You're getting a total body session, which is why we don't go full ham like 60 to 90 minutes with kettlebells. It gets to be a lot on your joints, just on your core, on your back to hold those things up. But the other part of it is we get this ballistic work. We get this fast twitch, fast response stuff that keeps us athletic and mobile. Let's go 3, 2, and 1 for your rows. So I want you to think about that when you're training with bells, especially if you're picking a modality of training that maybe you're gonna be doing in a home gym. This program's called, that this class is in, is called Home Gym Hypertrophy. So we're working a little more on pushing reps, on muscle building in this set, and it's been a little less cardio intensive, but perfect way to blend both of them in one piece of equipment. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Does this mean that I do not recommend for you to not, I feel like I did do both sides of the single arm swing. If I missed a side, I thoroughly apologize. My brain just went blank there as I was telling you guys this story. So that's that. If that happened, you can make it up at the end. I'm sorry. We're gonna do your other side of your rows though, and then start round 3. So what I was saying though is like, kettlebells are not the end all be all of life. Let's go ahead and start your rows. 3, 2, and 1. So I'm gonna stand up, I'm gonna pull it back. You can run, you can cycle, you can do Pilates, you can do a lot of things, but where I found kettlebells make the most difference to people that I've trained with them is in consistency and in efficiency. So that total body work, even though we're not putting in the 60 minutes here, your body's getting pretty taxed physically and mentally. Your nervous system is working hard to do this. 3, 2, and 1. So if you do these often and you have consistency, that's when it'll work. You're sensing a theme here. I've said this before, if your goal is to be a bodybuilder, to run a marathon, to do a big goal that's gonna take your time and put it all in that bucket, kettlebell training might not be your #1 form of strength training, but it also could be if your goal is more so like maintenance as you're doing other activities. Let's hit your deadlift, second side. Clock is on here in 3, or third time I should say, 2, and 1. So I like to think of kettlebell training, free weight training, plyometrics, getting some jumping in, really being a bit of the glue to let you do other stuff. If you're a surfer, if you're a golfer, if you, again, really enjoy group classes, if you wanna be running and doing triathlons in your life until you're 65 years old, this is a great way to get in your strength training. 3, 2, and 1. Make it efficient and not make it too taxing so you can focus on the other things. By the way, those of you that have kids, I mean, I have like a step family situation. I have 2 dogs, which sometimes feels like, I know they're not the same as kids, don't come at me in the comments, I'm not saying that, but sometimes the schedule and the dependency on you, even though I can leave them unsupervised in their crates when I leave the house, they still require a lot. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. So I want those of you that are parents, maybe you have a really demanding job, to start thinking about those things are stress in your life. Those things are demands on your schedule, just the same as maybe playing another sport would be. Of course, they're not physically the same exact thing. You have 10 seconds here, and I really want you to think about pushing down through that front foot, creating this type of vibe versus this one. We're not gonna be here. 3, 2, and 1. Start thinking of those things as constraints on your time. So what are you gonna choose? If you know strength training is gonna make the biggest difference for your life and how you feel, maybe it's a good thing to pick that instead of doing erroneous amounts of cardio or just focusing on the group fitness class that's more your social life, your fun, but doesn't really push you. And that's where I think, that's the reason I made this thing, to make kettlebell training accessible, to make it well programmed so you're not just juggling kettlebells around and all the things you see on social media, and to really get something out of it that can get you to your goals. Let's go ahead, hit your side step. 3, 2, and 1. As you can tell with this one, the swing is the swing. There's no difference in your swing motions. You have 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead, rest here. No difference in your swing motions. We have 10 swings, but the hip drive is the same. The placement here is the same, no matter if you're doing 2-hand, single arm, moving a leg. It all comes from this base right here. So just focusing on that, and then layering in these little tiny parts that change up the stimulus a little, that's gonna make this easy to learn and easy to practice. Let's go ahead and hit your other side. 3, 2, and 1. Rest in your place. We have one more set after we finish these rows. And if I did mess up that one round, you'll have one more side step swing set, but I think I got it. Sometimes my clients would vouch for this, people I've trained over the years. I'm the worst at keeping my mic on. I'm also the worst at counting reps sometimes because I get really focused on watching the movement. And sometimes I'll miss a round or a set or a side, but it all comes from love. Okay, I'm sweating just a little bit, which is a bit concerning. 1, because my weight is not that heavy, and 2, let's go ahead, hit your first side in 3, 2, and 1 for those rows. I just got my eyebrows tinted and laminated, and ladies, if you know what that's about, I mean, dudes, you might know what that's about too. The thing is, you're not supposed to get them wet or really sweat that much for a 24-hour period, or it can kind of ruin the setting, but I needed to film this class. Something happened where I couldn't film it the exact moment that I wanted to, and I'm trying to glisten and not melt my lamination off. So 3, 2, and rest. If you can relate to me right there, just give me a silent like, yes, I've got this, because there's only one more round of sweating left, 6 more minutes left. I hope you're sweating profusely actually, because sometimes that just feels really good, especially when I'm asking you to do swings and work your booty. Okay, here we go. Let's get your other side in 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna stand, hinge. Some of you might be wondering, how do you shower after you've got your eyebrows tinted or laminated? Well, the answer to that question is you have to become a master at the body shower. And those of you that are moms, those of you maybe out there that are trainers, those of you that just don't have a lot of damn time, which could be why you're here, the body shower is your friend, especially people that don't wash their hair often. We've got 3, 2, and 1. You need to perfect the art of that, but this one is just a little higher stakes because you can't really get your face wet either. There's no errant splashing that can happen. So if you have a waterfall shower, which I do in one of my new apartment in Mexico City, waterfall showers are kind of the slight devil for people that are not washing their hair daily. Hence, also not getting your face wet. So I have to kind of do like a step in, step out. My other shower, I just sort of do one of these and try to stay really far away from it. And with that, story time is over. Let's go ahead and get your final side. First side that you started with for your deadlift in 3, 2, and 1. So again, that wall, that apparatus, that pole, that maybe it's a friend is like holding on to you here. That is there for you to use to keep your hips even. So I do not want any of this. You have no excuse for that hip opening up on that side. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest. Shake it out just a little bit. For those of you that gave me some comments on a couple classes ago talking about athletic wear, I still feel like I'm in a bit of a slump with it. These are old Aloe. I'm actually wearing a full Aloe outfit, crazy. I love this newish bra from them, but if you've got bigger than B's, which is not me, mine are hovering at that point, probably not great for working out. You've got 3, 2, and 1. So if you need a lot of support, is what I'm saying, this one might be like a good evening bra, if you catch my drift, or a good like sleeping bra, if that's something that you like to partake in. But my friend Sam has reminded me, and this is slightly a jerk move because I don't think this is available in the US, but we have people from other places. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. She swears by Oisho, which is a Spanish brand. I think it's in the house of Zara, which, as you guys know, I've been trying not to do fast fashion, so maybe a little conflict of interest for me, but I think I'm gonna try them out. So the saga continues of finding something to wear that I don't hate, and I hope you can be there too. I've also been trying a couple influencer brands, like athletic wear brands that influencers in fitness actually started. And sadly, I haven't found anything I love yet there either. So that's where we're at. Let's get your side sub swings. Final side on your left. 3, 2, and 1. Maybe this means I need to combine my skill sets from the years of both working in athletic apparel and then being a trainer. Maybe I need to create some kind of brand. I don't know, probably not gonna happen because from what I know in apparel, it is not an easy feat, my friends. Keep going through this one for 10 more seconds, or if you've hit your 10, take your break. Bells come down in 3, 2, and 1. I think the lamination is hopefully staying. Whew, the side step swings are burning my adductors. That would be your inner thighs, for those of you that are like, what is that word she keeps saying? One of my, pet peeves, or I guess now the Gen Zers would say the ick that I get sometimes with trainers is if you're speaking to people that aren't trainers, there's a time and place if you're speaking to trainers, but mostly not trainers. Let's go your other side. 3, 2, and 1. Sometimes using a lot of anatomy terms, I think you gotta explain, like show where it is if you're gonna use those. So just throw them out. I'm like, most people haven't maybe studied that since they were in high school or been in a class or have any concept of what that means. So adductors here, inner thighs, those things that we don't like to work, the things that we need to do lateral movement to mostly work, whether we're seated or moving like this. 3, 2, and 1. I've always been a fan of seated hip abduction machines. So the ones that you come on and you're kind of like this, working here, working there. So if you ever come across one of those in a gym, know that they are not just for Instagram models, for booty workouts, for the ladies. They are for everyone, and they can take a typically weak thing and help make it stronger because you don't have to move in these lateral planes of motion on your own. So you can complement training like this with training like that. Let's go ahead, pick up your bell. 3, 2, 1, last set of rows. Core needs to stay working for you. Do yourself a favor and squeeze before you hit that pull. You have 10 seconds left here. Before we rest, we're not gonna take a big rest break or like rest, stretch situation after this particular class because you shouldn't really need too much. I'm just gonna say do your usual, take 5 minutes for yourself, chill out just a little bit, breathe, make sure that you are actively kind of checking in with where you're at, drink some water for God's sake. Maybe you take a body shower if you have some time to do that. Perfect time for that, especially if this is a lunch break class. Don't let your lamination get ruined and enjoy the rest of your day because that's why you're here. Get it done, get out, live your life. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. Stand up, come back into that position. So we're still learning how to find that hang clean position. So you guys better believe in our next program, guess what move is probably going to be making an appearance. Try to make these programs as progressive as possible. So if you start with one and you just move to the next one, you're gonna keep building on skills. It's not gonna be like bopping around to different things. So just keep that in mind. 3, 2, and 1. Friends, your set is finished for today. Very good work in our class. I'm gonna go get that body shower, do everything I just spoke of for you guys. Drink some water, maybe throw a little salt in that while you're at it, and I will see you guys in your next class here at Bells Up Studio. Remember, get real, get strong, bells up. Bye.